some of those ideas will fail. Good. I hate to say it. Healthy industries experiment. USEF does not have to own all of that experimentation. Its job should be creating an environment where innovation can happen without sacrificing horse welfare, athlete safety, or sport integrity. And that's where this whole privatization conversation gets interesting. I understand the argument. Private businesses can move faster. Entrepreneurs take risks. Investors bring capital. Commercial leagues can build products specifically around spectators, sponsors, and media. But I don't think our only choices are USEF controls everything or privatize everything. There's a huge middle ground. USEF can set the playing field, establish standards, protect horses, athletes, and competition integrity, maintain records, and provide national governance. And then say, okay, go build. Think about what that could mean for show organizers. Show organizers aren't just people filling out USEF paperwork. They're entrepreneurs. They're taking financial risk. They're renting facilities, hiring people, securing sponsors, buying insurance, building schedules, and trying to convince exhibitors to show up. They're creating the product most USEF members actually experience. So I want organizers asking, what do I get from being a part of USEF? Not only why do I owe USEF? Maybe licensing provides better technology. Maybe it gives organizers access to national partnerships. Maybe there are insurance benefits. Maybe data or media opportunities. And maybe USEF can leverage its scale to negotiate things an individual organizer could never negotiate alone. And I don't have every answer to that. And I shouldn't, honestly. You sit down with the people actually operating these businesses and ask them what would make the relationship valuable. Then you listen. And I would do the exact same thing internally. This is where my corporate project management brain gets embarrassingly excited. Process maps. I love them. Sorry. But before reorganizing anything, map it. Who owns that? Who reports to whom? Who makes the decision? Who approves it? Why? How long does it take? Where does it get stuck? Where are we entering information choice? Simplicity. And where are departments overlapping? Throw in there too, where is someone manually doing something software should have eliminated 5 years ago? That's how you find efficiency. And efficiency not automatically means layoffs. Sometimes you have an incredibly talented employee spending 10 hours a week doing something ridiculous because the system is terrible. Fix the system. Now you have 10 hours of that person's brain back. That's efficiency. And yes, technology, like you knew I was gonna get there eventually. USEF's technology and data should be major strategic assets. Think about what this organization touches. Horses, owners, athletes, trainers, officials, competitions, results, qualifications, memberships, championships. That is an enormous amount of valuable information, and interacting with it should be incredibly simple. My test is this. A USEF member should not need to understand USEF's organizational chart to get something done. Neither should an organizer. I shouldn't need to figure out which department owns my problem. I should enter through one front door and USEF figures out the rest. Then we have grassroots competition, because none of this matters if we price out the next generation of the sport. Local competition matters. Regional competition matters. Lesson barns matter. Schooling environments matter. They are the feeder system. They're where kids fall in love with competing, where parents figure out what on earth they've gotten themselves into, frankly. So if we're reevaluating licensing, I want to ask, how do we make it easier to operate at that level? Because growing membership cannot simply mean charging the existing members more money. Eventually you run out of things to sell to us. We're already buying horses. We're doing our part. Yeah, we need more people. That's it in the industry. That's where commercial growth comes in. Because USEF represents multiple breeds, multiple disciplines, Olympic athletes, kids, adult amateurs, owners, trainers, officials, and competitions across the country. That's not just a membership organization, that is a market. And a commercial strategy shouldn't simply mean finding another company, selling them a sponsorship and putting their logo somewhere. I want partnerships that create actual value. Can technology reduce costs? Can insurance relationship benefit organizers? Can national purchasing relationships create economies of scale? And can media partnerships bring new audiences? USEF has scale. Use it. Obviously, media. I will continue to beat this drum until somebody physically removes me from it. We need more people watching equestrian sport. But USEF does not have to become Netflix for horses. Partner. There are people who are very good at producing television. Let them produce television. There are people who understand social media, live sports, reality television, commercial leagues, and storytelling. Let them build it. If somebody comes to USEF with a completely different competition concept that could put equestrian sport in front of 1 million people, I don't want the first response to be, well, where does that fit into our existing rule book? I want it to be, okay, tell me more. Then figure out how we can work safely and fairly. So where do I land on all this? I do not think USEF necessarily needs to become bigger. I think the sport needs to become bigger. I want USEF leaner, clearer, faster, technologically better, more accountable internally, more useful to organizers, more accessible to the grassroots, stronger where governance actually matters, and more comfortable letting private enterprise do what private enterprise does well. USEF doesn't have to build every great idea. Sometimes leadership means recognizing a great idea, putting the appropriate guardrails around it, and then getting out of the way. And I think all of this matters when we're talking about the next CEO, because the next CEO does not need to know more about every discipline than the people inside those disciplines. That person does not exist. You're not finding somebody who knows more about dressage than the dressage people, more about the hunters than the hunter people, more about the reining than the reining people, more about the Morgans than the Morgan people, and so on and so forth. Who also just happens to be an expert in technology, finance, governance, media, operations, organizational design, and commercial strategy. Good luck finding that unicorn. Although, given the industry, if anyone could find a unicorn, I suppose it could be us. What you can find is somebody who listens and someone who asks good questions. Someone who recognizes patterns, builds strong teams, connects departments, creates accountability, and isn't afraid to make decisions. Someone who can take 100 good ideas coming from different corners of the industry and turn them into one coherent strategy. That's executive leadership to me. And the more conversations I've had lately with organizers, riders, parents, business owners, and people throughout this industry, the more I'm convinced there is a real appetite for change. Not burning everything down, not pretending everything USEF has done is wrong. Just asking, can we build the next version better? I think we can. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I'm gonna go deal with the boxes I'm pretending don't exist. And tomorrow I'll be at the Derby finals at the Kentucky Horse Park, like I mentioned. So if you're there, come find me, especially if you disagree with me. I genuinely want to hear it. Really, I do. Because the whole point of let's talk about it was never I have every answer. It's that these are conversations worth having. And apparently now we're having them at horse shows too. So see you tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun.